hidden limitations. So how on earth do you work out what hidden limitations you've got if they're hidden? And of course, those limitations are being hidden from you specifically in order to try and protect you, in order to try and stop you from doing anything that might have been deemed dangerous in the past. So for instance, you might have a hidden limitation whereby maybe you're afraid to speak in public. But you don't necessarily think of it as being afraid to speak in public. You just think to yourself, I don't like doing that kind of thing. And therefore, you make sure that you limit your choices and the things that you do so you don't end up in a situation where you might have that. Or perhaps maybe sometime in a long distant past you were hurt in a relationship. So without realizing it now, what's happening is there's an underlying limitation that stops you from committing to committing fully to a relationship, or opening yourself out to be vulnerable in order to be able to receive that love, but also take the risk in being hurt. But you might not consciously know that. But how would you know about these different limitations? Well, the answer is simple: your behavior. And specifically where your behavior does not match with the way you think you should be. So for instance, if you are looking for love, I'm just using this as an example, doesn't mean it's necessarily what you're doing, but say for instance, you were, but somehow you couldn't find the right relationship. Or when you got into what seemed to be on paper the right relationship, you did something that sabotaged it. Or you ran away from it. That would be an indicator of there being a hidden limitation that you're not aware of, but it just turns out in what happens to you. Or for instance, if you always seem to miss out on the opportunities, or you pass up when there's an opportunity for an advancement in your job or a promotion, and you've got no idea why you did it, why you suddenly thought to yourself, oh no, I can't do that, or I'm not going to send the forms in, or I'm not going to send in my CV for that. What you don't know is underneath there's a limitation that's preventing you from getting into something that you're afraid of, or something that your deeper awareness wants to stop you from getting into, but you don't consciously know what it is. All you know is somehow your career doesn't seem to be going the way you want it to. Even though if you were to step back and look upon it objectively, there's no reason why it couldn't be. So this is how you tell where your hidden limitations are, just through the behavior and what happens to you in everyday life. If things are not working out the way you think they should, or the way you think they could, then it's highly likely you've got a hidden limitation. And the Reaction Code 2.0 program, which by the way is going to be closing its doors on registration in 48 hours, so there's not much time. If you have been thinking about doing this, or you've been umming and ahhing about it, now's the time to make that decision and move ahead with breaking down not only your known limitations, not only your known negative reactions, but also the unknown stuff. And a third of the program is going to be focused on tackling the patterns that you're not even aware of. You've got no idea where they've come from. You don't know what makes them up and where all the moving parts are. All you know is that things aren't working out the way you want them to, thereby giving you a sign as a hidden limitation. And the Reaction Code 2.0 will give you all the tools you need and all the techniques to be able to tackle those hidden limitations, to work through them and change the way in which your behavior then affects the rest of your actual everyday real world life. And you don't even need to know a lot of philosophy, psychology, or any of that kind of stuff. All the information you need is already inside you. And this program will bring that out and give you the tools and techniques that you need in order to create that transformation you've been looking for. So as I said, very limited time. We're about to close the door soon. And from there on in the future, it will only be an online program without the interaction you'll get from being in part of the first special run that we're having, that's going to be created and recorded live. Okay, I look forward to seeing you inside the program. If you do have any questions about whether this is suitable or not for you, please send me a message. And do it quickly because the time is running down. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye.